Hi y'all, doing another quick video on some soups. This is what I'm making for today. We have some parsley in here, some celery. I have chicken breast in here. I have 1 pound of chicken breast and the rest of it is with broth. I have it in a pint and a half. So I have chicken in here. It does have salt, onions, and garlic in it. You can check out a video for me. I don't know if I have one up yet, but I'll make some videos of that soon. Here I have some of my homemade chicken broth. I have no salt in it. And then I have some zucchinis here. I have 2 of the yellow zucchinis, and then I have 3 of the Mexican zucchinis. And then I have me some northern beans here, and I'm going to put some coleslaw in it as well. Okay, so let me go ahead and get started. We're going to let it get together quickly, and we're going to get things moving. You're definitely more than welcome to cut the celery the way you want to. I'm going to do bigger slices because I like celery, so I want my family to be able to really taste it. So I'm just going to do 4 wind through it so you can see me cutting the celery. I have 1 pound of celery, or not celery, but coleslaw. I'm going to go ahead and put this in here, my celery in here. And again, you can add as much celery, as much of anything that you want. Because remember, again, tell her to who you're cooking for. But I'm just showing you what I'm putting inside of it. Alright, I took it off the skin, I went ahead and used my thing to take the skin off for the zucchini, so I'm going to go ahead and slice it up now. I slice them up big, so I want to be able to taste them. A bunch of parsley. Again, you can use more or less, depends on how much you want to use. Totally fine. I'm going to use all of it because I don't want it to go bad, and I'm just playing with it. You can put whatever food in you want into your food. Make it yours. Okay, I have my 10.5 quart here of, I just got this one. I'm going to do a video on it to show it, but it's awesome. I just got this. It's really big. It's a 10.5 quart pressure cooker. I love it. I have my big one, my 930, but this one's for my small meals. So my soups and stuff that I can fit it all in here. I'm going to go ahead and put in the parsley. And I'm going to go ahead and start adding everything. I'm opening up my broth right now. You heard it. I'm going to put that in. Open up my other broth. And for this broth, I'm only going to put half it in because I'm going to want to thicken it up. Because for our family, we like it thick. You definitely don't have to do that, but I like to. Put my northern beans in. So this is where it goes kind of fast. All you're doing is just adding. Putting it in. Soups are awesome because you can take all your leftovers and just put them in. Here's my chicken breasts. There. Put that in. I can break up the meat just a little bit, but even while it cooks, it's going to break up. But I'm going to go ahead and put it in, break it up some. And what's cool is, make them in big batches if you can, so that you can be able to have some for later. Got that in there. And then in here I have my spices. And the spices consist of one hefty tablespoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, and that's my spices. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in. There we go. And let me go ahead and and now I'm going to take it off the base. You can't see what it looks like, but I'm going to take it off the base and I'll let you see what it does look like. Because it looks really good. Looks really, really good. Okay. Just giving it a good mix. A lot of stuff going on here. But the whole point is I'm going to let this cook. I don't want to cook it for long because I want to still have some vegetables in here. I still want to taste them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook it for 7 minutes. 7 to 10 minutes. So I'm just mixing it right now, using all the flavors together. And then after it cooks, I'm going to let it cook for an additional 5 minutes with the rest of this stock with the flour and the butter. But right now, just mixing it. And then at the end, you'll go ahead and taste it at that time and see if you want to add more salt, pepper, or whatnot. So it's all mixed. I'm going to put this on the stove and I'll zoom it on in and you can see what the soup is going to look like. Here's the soup. This is what it looks like. It's a lot. So now what I'm going to also put in, because my husband, at times, he likes soy sauce. So I'm going to put some soy sauce in. I went ahead and put 4 tablespoons of soy sauce in here. So it's roughly around a 1/4 of a cup. Maybe a little bit more than 1/4 of a cup. So I'm going to give it another toss, another mix. Not a salad, so another toss. And I'm going to let it come to pressure. Follow your instructions for your pressure canner, or for your pressure cooker. And you're going to let it cook for 7 to 10 minutes. And if you're cooking this in a regular pot, you can go ahead and cook it for 20 minutes. Around 20 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bring it up to pressure, and then once it reaches pressure, I'm going to cook it for 7 to 10 minutes. Alright, I hope you can be able to hear me okay. I'm releasing the food from my pressure cooker. What I have here is 1/2 cup of flour and 1/2 cup of butter, and I'm going to mix it together. The whole point of your gravy is you don't want there to be a lot of lumps. Kind of stuck to my spatula there, and that's okay. So I'm just going to add a little bit of my gravy, and this is roughly around a cup of gravy. And I'm doing it by hand. Normally I do it in my Vitamix because it's a lot easier and simpler, but I'm just showing that you can be able to do it by hand. If you don't have the toys, it's totally fine. You just have a little bit more work, but it's definitely doable. And you just want to put in a little bit at a time. And I could have had a bigger bowl, but, you know, again, you work it out. And the whole point is you just want to make sure there's no lumps. Because what you're going to do is you're going to end up adding this sauce to your soup, or whatever it is that you're making your gravy with. Me, I'm using this to thicken my soup. So I'm going to put a little bit more water in. And you just want to do it a little bit at a time so it'll be easier for you. The whole point is you don't want it to be hard. And I'm going to put this in my stock, and it takes roughly around 2 minutes worth of cooking to get rid of the flour taste. So I'm going to go ahead and pour it all in, and there we go. It is all done. So now that my food has released all the air from me pressure cooking it, I'm going to go ahead and just put this in, and it's going to go ahead and thicken up my soup. But you see there's no lumps here, and that was pretty painless, quick and easy. And we're making our own broth. So now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and put inside of my soup, and we're going to thicken it up. And I thicken it up, I leave it uncovered, and I'm going to let it cook for about 5 minutes once it comes to a simmer. So let me go ahead and add this in. Now I've taken the soup off, and you definitely can leave it just like this. I cooked it a little longer than what I wanted to, but I wanted to keep more of the texture, but I wasn't able to. But it's still fine. It'll still taste delicious. Just cook it for a little less time if you want it to be more, not as soft. Not as soft. But this is what it looks like. You see the meat broke up. The meat broke up pretty good. And me looking at it, it doesn't look like I have a lot of stock in here, even though I put a lot in here. So the mixture that I put in, I'm only going to put half of it in because I don't want it too thick. So I'm going to go ahead and just add half of it in. Let me make sure it's half. And now I'm going to stir it. And I'm going to go ahead and put it on medium-high. And what I'm going to do is just let it get to a simmer. And as soon as it gets to a simmer, I'm going to count it for around 5 minutes. And then the soup is going to thicken up some, and it's going to be done. And you know, I don't have to, but I'm just going to go ahead and add it all in. Why not? It's fine. But if you don't want it to be as thick as what I'm making it, you can definitely half what I did. What you'll go ahead and do is you'll use 1/4 a cup of flour, and I still would use half a stick of butter, and go ahead and make it. The only thing I would change is do maybe 1/4 of a cup of the flour instead of half a cup. But I'm gonna wait till it simmers some. And when it simmers, you can see like little bitty bubbles, just little bitty little bubbles. I'll let you see what that looks like, and then I'll start the 5 minutes. I don't know if you can see it really good on my camera. Yeah, you can see it. I can see it while I'm looking at it, but it's simmering. It's slowly moving, like the mixture is moving a little bit because it's moving. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it down to about medium, maybe medium low. I'm gonna put it on 4, and I've already started my timer. I'm just gonna let it cook for about 5 minutes, and I'm gonna let it thicken up some. Yeah, you can see it's really getting there. And then while it's thickening up, you go ahead and stir it as well. If you'd like to, if it's a little too thick for you, you can just add a little bit more liquid to it, like maybe put 1/4 of a cup of liquid in it. And then if you want more, you can put another 1/4 of a cup, or you can even do half a cup. But I'm going to stir it to make sure that it's not sticking to the bottom. For my stock, I didn't put any salt in it, so I added a teaspoon more salt in it, and I also put in 5 slices of cheese inside of here as well. Again, everything is optional. I put in here because my family likes it. We're trying to cut back, but you know, do what you can. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is what it looks like. It ended up cooking for a little bit longer because I was doing something downstairs and I wasn't able to get back here in enough time. But if you want it to be cooked less, which you definitely, it tastes good. I would prefer for it to be cooked less. Cook it for less time. Maybe cook it for like 3 minutes or so in your pressure cooker, or around 15 minutes. Especially if you're cooking in a regular pot, you can just check on it and you can see that it's when you want to basically take it out. But this is what it looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and get it plated, and we'll see it. Here it is plated, and as always, I always put it on here. You can always put what you want. You can put some tomatoes on it, or different things, garnishes on it that you'd like to put in. Put some parsley there if you want to, but I'm not. But what I have around it is some Parmesan cheese, and then I have the white stuff there is the sour cream. My mom likes sour cream. I'm making my mom's plate. But this is what it looks like. It's creamy. There's some of the zucchini in there as well. The meats are more strands. There's still some chunky meat in here. But here it is. Looks great and it's delicious. So I'm going to go ahead and take it down to her, and you can serve it with some crackers or some bread, or just serve it as it is. I'm just going to serve it as is. But that's why I like to make stuff a little thicker so that you can see it. But if you're cooking for individuals who are not necessarily going to eat it if they can see it, then cut it small. But again, cook for who's planning on eating it. And on behalf of your friends, family, and loved ones, I wanted to tell you on behalf of them, thank you so much for preparing such great food that we're able to put inside of our mouths, that is great for our bodies, and that is time that you spent, that's your valuable time. We want to say thank you so much for doing all that you do. Thanks, and God bless.